Hello, welcome. This is Mainnet 10 with Mainnet Sports. How's everybody doing today? I hope everybody's doing all right. I hope everybody's ready for the Super Bowl, even though the Detroit Lions won't be in it. But hey, it is what it is. As they say, always time for next year. Um, but this is No Holds Barred Friday. Any topic, just about anything is open. Uh, you're welcome to post. Your thoughts as far as how you think the Lions are going to do next year. Are they going to be able to retain, uh, resign their a lot of their free agents and stuff? So so what's your thought about things? How do you think things are going to go? Um, hope everybody's doing good. But yeah, Grasnos, I think they really got to sign him. They want to bring him back. Um, I haven't dived really into the free agency. Uh, I would like to see him bring back Gardner Johnson if we could get him with the right price, but for the right price. But yeah, we definitely got to bring back a lot of the key players. Of course, and one thing for sure is I don't want anybody back that is not totally sold on making this team better. Because you know, we we need people that are really there to make it better, make us better. Definitely. If we don't make it better, um, if we don't keep the same uh amount of emphasis on winning, then we're gonna go back to being the same alliance as it used to be. Uh, but yeah, if we don't go ahead and keep the core that got us here, the core that got us to the NFC Championship, and then go ahead and go above and beyond. As I said, I do think we need uh to make the defense better. I think the offense was pretty much there. I'm streaming. I'm streaming. Yeah. Sorry, I had an important call coming. But yeah. But the Lions need to go ahead and sign a lot of the free agency. And who knows? I don't know if we'll be able to keep everybody that we got. Uh, but then we got to replace. We got to remember. Not only do we fell just short of entering that Super Bowl. So not only do we got to replace the people that we might lose, the talent that we might lose, but we also need to get better too. Uh, it's going to be that's going to be something to try to do to actually climb the hill, climb over the hump. Because I'll tell you what, next year I see a dog fight in the NFC North. You know, so if we want to maintain the NFC North, you know, we're going to need to be the man that beats the man. You know, we're going to need to have the players to do it, because if we don't have the players to do it, if you don't get that free agents, if you don't shore up the defense, you know, I mean, it's so hard to get to the NFC Championship anyway. You know, it is, and we don't. Like I said, Green Bay started. You know, Green Bay started to come into his own. Uh, look at the trouble that Minnesota gave us towards the end. Chicago, they got two very high draft choices in the first round, and who knows what they're going to do with that? Are they going to get? Are they going to trade uh, that first overall pick for you know go ahead and get more draft capital that will help make them better or what? Plus they brought in different coaches and stuff. So I see next year it's going to be a dogfight in the NFC North. You know, it's just the way it is. Not that it was not a dogfight this year, because hey, the NFC North was basically the teams that gave us the most trouble in the regular season. You know, so and my of course my feeling is that keep the we do gotta get better corners. We do gotta definitely we gotta get shut down corners some way. And then we got the Lions need to do it without breaking the bank of the rest of the team too. What do we do with Jared Goff too? Uh, I mean, he's earned the right to be here. He's earned the right to actually be our starting quarterback. I mean, he's gotten us that far. Um, do we give him an extension? What type of extension do we give him? And they'll make both sides happy, that the Lions and that the team can live with too. Because uh, with the way just remember, any high-powered salary can affect your team for years on, and that's I mean, the Lions have gotten over cap hell before, but then that takes time to get out of it. Uh, I'm beginning to think this is a bad time to have the show, because there's nobody actually even on here. Uh, but yeah, my thoughts is that uh, when you get smacked down, you gotta get back up. So you know. Let's see what Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes have for us in the draft this year. Um, Brad Holmes has been a wizard as far as for a lot of the you know a lot of his drafts have really uh, came true. So, but we're like 29th in the draft. We're not up there like we were last year. We're definitely not. We're not up in these high up in the in the draft. So we're at 29th, and does he trade cat? Because we know Brad Holmes isn't afraid to trade down to get that guy that he wants. We have seen it before. We've seen where he traded down to get Williams, where he traded down to get Gibbs. Actually traded. So that's what we really gotta see what's going on. And welcome to Tim's Maniac Sports. Where you guys any comments, questions are welcome, and I'll do my best to answer them. I know I'm ready. I know I'm ready for the Super Bowl. I know it's not till next weekend, but I'm ready to. I Not that I really care who wins. I'll tell you, I I don't see San Francisco beating uh, the Chiefs. I think that whenever you got Patrick Mahomes in there, he's that he's just that type of player that knows how to rise to the occasion. You know, it's you know he just somehow, even when he hurt and in playoff time, and in game crunch time, Patrick Mahomes just finds a way to get it done. Along with the Chiefs, because he's not the only player on the Chiefs, but they. So I think that the Chiefs are going to end up winning. Uh, I know who knows. One of the things that San Francisco showed us last week is that, hey, Brock Purdy can run. He can go ahead and be elusive, and let's at least to the Lions. I mean, that's one thing that didn't help the Lions cause last week either. There was a Brock Purdy when it got down to it. He found a way to scramble, and of course everybody knows the Detroit Lions cannot stop a running quarterback, and nobody really was prepared for Brock Purdy to be that running quarterback. You know, but and I did want to say something about Brock Purdy contract. Come on, San Francisco 49ers, you got to kick in more money to that. I mean, if he needs to borrow money, or if the fans need to go ahead and raise money for him to have living expenses, in California, and your franchise of that, you got to take care of apartment bills or something, because I mean, yes, he was the last pick overall in the draft that year, but this guy has gotten you now. He has gotten you to a Super Bowl. You know, I mean, yeah, it was the team you put around him, but 49ers, come on. You know, the ownership of the 49ers needs to go ahead and pay that guy some more money, because that's crazy. Uh, that is crazy. Yeah, and I know you're in California, and deals the stuff is really bad there too. But yeah, welcome. You guys are listening to Tim's Maniac Sports. How's everybody doing today? I hope you guys are doing all right. Uh, Pro Bowl's on this weekend. Not that I'm going to really be watching it, I'm not too much. Excuse me. I'm not too much into flag football. Maybe that's your guys' thing, but I'm not looking forward to the Pro Bowl. To tell you the truth. Uh, it was different when it was actually a real game. Not that it was a total real game, but it was, because and I can also see why you wouldn't want your to play a real game because teams don't want to risk, in the Pro Bowl you don't want to risk your players getting hurt for a game that really don't matter. So that's, I can understand why the Pro Bowl is not even, more of a flag football game than what it is anything else. But you still take chances. Um, but hey, welcome, guys and gals. This is Maniac Tim from Maniac Sports. Um, how's everybody doing? What do you guys think the Lions need to do in order to get past this hurdle and actually go ahead and make it into the Super Bowl next year? And do they even have a chance? Uh, it's going to be hard enough to get back um, to the NFC Championship, but every Lions fan out there, they want to see the Lions get back to the Super Bowl or get to a Super Bowl. That's one of the things we want to see. We want to see the Lions get to the Super Bowl. We want to see them get past that threshold and just take it to the next level. By the way, I do got links in the show if somebody wants to go ahead and hop on and discuss their point of view. There's just the links are posted in the chat, but you guys must have StreamYard or download StreamYard in order to get it. Uh, this is No Hold Barred Friday. Every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have the show, and then I also pop on different times during the week, uh, even though I gotta do it more. But this is No Hold Barred Friday. Hope to get more people in here. But okay. Me buddy, hey, good morning, good morning. Hey, how's it going, Jeremy? How's it going? Uh, hope hope things are going. Hope things are going well with you. Uh, Uncle Timmy. It's been a while since I been called that. I remember Kurt used to always call me that, Uncle Timmy. So, but so Jeremy, what do you feel about the Pro Bowl game? Is that your type of sport? The flag football version. Okay. All right, we'll bring you right in. Hey, how's it going?
Mute the phone.
Yeah, let me get my
Let me get my headphones in.
yep.
Uncle
Me.
Timmy. Yeah, I had to go Kurt Steele on that and call you
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
But on the Pro Bowl, it's the only All-Star game that doesn't fall in the middle of a professional season,
Yeah.
and I would like to see it do that. I think that's the only way to get it more viewership and more interest.
Mm-hmm.
Move it to the middle. Do away with bye weeks. What you do is you
Mm-hmm.
give every team the week off before the Pro Bowl and the week
Right.
off after to help prevent injuries. Because right there, you're at your player's peak performance.
Right.
is mid-season. You don't necessarily. You can leave it the flag football game. It is. Pick better skills challenge.
Okay. All right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Dodgeball, that's kind of cool. It shows how elusive somebody is, but that kind of works better for the offensive side of the ball than the defense. You don't want cornerbacks dodging somebody. You want them hitting somebody. You don't want linebackers.
Yep, exactly.
You want them hitting somebody. So it should be like only wide receivers and running backs in that competition. The
Right.
tug of war has to be the best O lines versus each other and
Mhm.
the best D lines versus each other. That way you can see who has the bragging rights for best O line strength,
Right.
AFC or NFC.
Mhm.
Bring back the strongest arm competition. This golf thing is a joke. What does that have to do with football?
Exactly. And of course,
And
you have it at Disney World now. Come on,
put it back in Hawaii, make it a vacation.
Yep, that's true.
Uh, that stadium they built those years ago when they took it out of Hawaii, it needs major renovations. It's going to be
Yeah.
almost as expensive as updating the University of Hawaii Stadium, and it's a better location for people to go to. You know what's funny is they don't fill the Orlando Stadium. They did fill Hawaii, and it's way more
Right.
expensive to get there. You tell me, what did the fans want more? Going to Hawaii for a vacation to watch their All-Stars or going there?
Mhm. Exactly. Go to Hawaii too. I mean,
Every
and
Everybody can get to Disney World or Disneyland. They can't all get to Hawaii, but they did.
yep, that's true. So, what's your outlook on next year in the NFC North?
It's going to be a
What
dog
teams
fight.
are going?
I think the Bears are going to get better. I think the Packers and the Lions are going to get better. I really feel that the Vikings may implode. They don't know what they're doing at quarterback. They really can't afford Kirk Cousins, the whole 9 yards. And they can't afford Daniil Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
So, and
Yep.
he was 95% of their successful pass rush. They had a great pass rush all year. They blitzed like a mofo, but he was the one that got home.
Right. Hey,
So
Steve, how's it going?
New Breed 313 Sports. I
Yep.
like it. Good name.
Yep. This is
Gotta say it right.
yeah. Oh, you said the Timmy. Okay, you stuck that one in. Oh boy. But it was a great season for Lions.
We played in 20 games.
I know.
Never been able to say that before. Granted, yes,
Right.
7 for the regular season, but we played
Mhm.
in 3 postseason games. In the
Yep.
past, what, 3 postseason games meant you were playing in the Super Bowl.
Right. Exactly.
We added this extra round.
Mm-hmm. Although you know me, I want to add another.
Hey, wouldn't it be nice, though,
Mhm.
if we gave every team 2 weeks off? The week before the Pro Bowl, the week after the Pro Bowl. You're only
Right.
extending the season 1 week.
Right.
You're not
Yeah.
extending the game, you're extending it 1 week.
But can you? I mean that's a great idea, but I just need to do devil's advocate, okay? Because can you just see the headaches of the coaches saying they want? I don't think they would want the distraction in the middle of the season, though.
But you know what? It doesn't matter about what the coaches or the players want. It matters about what the viewers want, and the viewership is
Exactly.
not there for that week
Mhm.
before the Super Bowl. Because you know what?
Yeah.
Teams that's lost, so they get extra players in the Pro Bowl. Do you think a lot of Lions
Hmm.
fans are actually watching these sporting events right now?
No.
No, we're dejected. We're mad that we got
Right.
2 guys going into the Pro Bowl. We're
Right.
mad that 2 of our players can't play in the Pro Bowl because they hurt themselves in a loss.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
And I won't watch the Super Bowl till the Lions are in it. You know why? I told you why.
Hmm.
You're very welcome, New Breed 313 Sports. And you said his name was Steve, right?
Yep. Yep.
See, I pay attention. Even though I'm broke, I still do it.
Yep. And actually, they do got some good content too. Um, but of course, his is during the night where it's where I can't really see a lot of it. But he's been on the show a few times.
I got my 3 primetime shows a week, and now I got until the off season hits, which is technically after the Super Bowl. I have
Right.
5 morning shows a week at 10
Hmm.
a.m. So I'm busting my butt 8 shows a week during the season, and it'll be 5 shows a week in the off season.
Wow. Yeah, no, I have picked up a couple of your 10 o'clock shows
Mhm. I've seen you
when I
comment.
was, yeah.
I respond.
Hmm. So yeah, I'm so glad things are doing good, doing good. So what are we going to focus on in free agency here?
I think a cornerback 1, a vet presence for cornerback 1
Hmm.
is the biggest need. I have 3
Hmm.
targets. If
Yep.
the Chiefs don't tag him, Ladarius Sneed. Same with
I
the
like
Bengals.
that.
If they don't
Hmm.
tag him, Tadori Awuriye.
Yep.
And the third one is Adoree Jackson out of the New York Giants. They can't afford to tag him or sign him, so he will be a free agent.
Hmm. Wow.
So any one of those 3 is an automatic
Hmm.
upgrade to the CB1.
Yep.
And I still think we need to draft at least 1 in the draft.
Hmm.
And I'm not saying we gotta go in the first round and take 1 first round, because right now with what I'm seeing, because what I've been watching is the Senior Bowl drills on NFL Network and ESPNU,
Hmm.
because to me, that's
Yep.
more important to be able to scout these guys and how they're going.
Hmm.
You guys really need to pay attention to the workouts of Tavondre Sweat, defensive tackle out of Texas. He was
Hmm.
slated to be a late day 2 pick. He might be moving his way into the first round,
Wow.
because and think about it, he played for Texas, one of the 4
Hmm.
college playoff teams. He must have been a pretty good tackle. 6 foot
Oh yeah.
4, 362 pounds.
Yeah.
He's a big boy.
Definitely.
He's a big boy.
Yeah. Hmm.
He's a hog molly before he became a man. And like Ali McNeil was a running back that just ballooned up his senior year, and they said, "Well, you're going to defense."
Cool. So yeah. So that's. Are you going to be at the draft this year?
I'm gonna be there for one day, no matter what. It's free to
Hmm.
attend. I'm going.
Oh yeah.
I've put my name on the list for the press people, so hopefully I get that and get to be on media row and actually talk to draft prospects, because you will see I have a new podcast table for traveling that's being made for me.
Oh
I
wow.
I've got my lights, I've got Wi-Fi hotspot, the whole 9 yards, and pretty soon I'm gonna be adding a call-in line to my show.
Wow. That's great. Man, you're moving on up just like the Jeffersons did, right?
I'm doing it all out of pocket because you're not gonna
Yeah.
grow if you're not willing to invest. That's
Exactly.
that's where I'm at. I don't need all the
Hmm.
stuff in the background to prove my fandom. I'll put
No.
it on my head every show.
Yep.
Um,
Oh shoot. Everybody knows. Everybody knows your line.
uh,
Everybody knows you.
I'm gonna be focusing a little bit more on the NFL with my writings throughout the off season,
Hmm.
and and branching out, possibly even dabbling into some baseball because I was asked to. And when the publisher asks you, that means he wants to see your insight somewhere else because you did a good job where you're at.
Right. Yep.
Uh,
Exactly.
I'm
Exactly.
trying to get my chicklets fixed. It's a little more
Hmm.
expensive than I thought, so it's going to take a minute to get there, but I got to get it done before June, the end of June,
Hmm.
because I'm going to the NMSA meetings in Louisville, North Carolina, which is
Wow.
the National Sports Media Association.
Wow.
where you get to meet the likes of Peter King and all those guys. Dave Gorin is the guy that runs it out of Louisville, North Carolina. Big things happening, and I'm proud to be a part of it. But when you're meeting guys that are on TV, the radio, and in print way before you were even born, you kind of want to have a nice smile and good chiclets.
Oh yeah.
Right now, I've got a face for radio, but I do video, and I don't care what anybody says about it. I'm going to be here. You don't like it? I'm like a boomerang. I'll come back. Throw me out.
Well, let's just say, I mean, we can pretend you played hockey too. Got pucked in the face. I know I need some teamwork too. Yeah.
Gila Dome. I am a goalie. Can you tell?
Oh, dude. Jeez.
I was better at stopping with my face than my hockey pad.
Wow. Okay, look like we got Steve. I bet Steve. Somebody else. All right, here we go. All right. How'd it go, Steve?
Hey, fellas, how y'all doing?
Now I get to put a face with the name. Your face is much prettier for TV than mine.
Oh,
hey,
I try.
I've always made a rule of thumb in my life. I poke fun at myself before I ever poke fun at someone else, because if they're laughing with you, they can't be mad at you.
Right. And I always make fun of myself, so it's nothing to do. So it's okay.
Yeah, and everybody asks if I'm in shape. I'm rounds of shape, right? I've been around holes. Don't let AG coach because I might be a square peg then that I'm trying to fit in. I'm just saying, you look at what this guy has done. Derek Barnes. It took him 3 years to develop into a middle linebacker because he was a defensive edge and outside linebacker for Purdue.
Right.
Look at Jack Campbell. We moved him to outside linebacker while Derek Barnes played middle linebacker and expected him to be great in coverage and everything else when he's learning a new position as a rookie. How many times have we seen? I said and Tim was there, coming out of the draft, when we drafted Ifeatu Melifonwu, I said he's better suited, just like his brother, for safety than corner. They switched him to safety last year. What happened this year when he got his shot? He balled out.
Oh yeah.
Malcolm Rodriguez, middle linebacker, started him at edge a lot, and then he earned that middle linebacker spot. Then he got hurt, and he has not been a starter yet until Barnes went down. There's a reason for that. Number one, he's an oversized safety that plays linebacker. If you look at his size, he's 5'11" and 230. He gained weight because he was a wrestler, and he had to make weight to wrestle in the right weight class that was better for his leverages. It's great for him that he's a wrestler because he knows all those angles for tackling and doing stuff with his arms that other guys don't know how to do. And we saw that when he hip tossed Jason Kelsey like he was a rag doll in week 1 the year before. So, he's strong as an ox. He's a smart football player. He makes plays. He did okay at fullback. Was he great?
Yeah.
No, but you know what? I still say he was better than Kabinda. He had 1 target, 1 catch. That's a win.
Yeah, Kabinda kind of fell short.
Statistically, as much as everybody's so happy we kept everything the same because they came back and turned down head coaching jobs or didn't get the head coaching jobs they were interviewing for, there's a reason to be concerned. We ranked 32nd in the league at stopping scoring in the 3rd quarter. That means all 31 teams were better at stopping people in the 3rd quarter, which means our halftime adjustments suck faster than an early OnlyFans girl does for a $20 Cash App donation.
And that's not easy.
No, it's not easy.
That $20 can go far.
Wait, it gets better. On offense, we were 20th in the league in scoring on offense at only. I actually have the stats. Let me get it up because I want to actually be accurate when I say what it was. And I'll tell you what teams were better than us. And that is actually even scarier. On offense, we scored 4.2 points per quarter all season.
Ooh.
That's the average.
Wow.
That's 20th in the league. Wait till you hear who was better. I'm going to give you 4 names of teams, and you're going to throw up in your mouth a little bit. The Patriots. The Bears. The Jets.
Oh, no, okay.
And here's the worst one. The Panthers.
I knew that was going to be in there. I just knew it somehow.
So you guys say what you want. And I'm happy for continuity too. I get it. Why change? Why fix it if it ain't broken? But something's broken because that third quarter is abysmal on both sides of the ball. And you can't blame it on turnovers too, because guess what? We only had 4 turnovers given in the third quarter and only 1 taken away. And only the one that was taken away was the Marcus Peters touchdown against the team that couldn't beat us.
Right.
So it isn't the turnovers that lost us games.
I agree.
So,
that's the biggest thing I wanted to put out there because everybody says, well, how many turnovers was it in the third quarter? Because didn't that contribute a lot to the defense sucking? Not really. Not really.
Yeah.
And it's that's been a play that has really been with the Lions for a long time. That third quarter, even way back.
If you look back to the year that Dan Campbell's first year here, when he took over the play calling, and Ben Johnson was actually the passing game coordinator, but Dan Campbell was calling those plays for 7 games. We scored 5 touchdowns in third quarter that year. That's more than any year before him and any year after him. That's food for thought.
Yeah.
Everybody says Dan Campbell and his gambling and this, that, and the other on the 4th downs that cost us. It's not that. It's because we suck in the third quarter.
Yeah.
I don't bullshit. I'm blunt. I'm honest. You know this. I call out everything as I see it. Because you know what? I'm tired of sugarcoating stuff for fans to make them feel better. We can't keep doing that because that must be placate and be happy with just making the championship game. I'm a lot like Dan Campbell was. He's not saying this was our only shot. If you actually listen to that whole speech, this was our best shot to make the Super Bowl. We got there when nobody expected us to. And we were them in the mouth and we lost the goddamn game. That's what he's trying to say.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned that because there's so many people that took what he said out of content and thinking, oh, this is our only chance for us to go to a Super Bowl. And it's like you have to listen to everything that he said. You can't just listen to a snippet of what he said.
Best chance is what he was trying to say. And the reason why is nobody expected us to be there. And we already knew the Chiefs won and we beat them. Let's go. Let's win this game. Let's go play the Chiefs.
Yeah.
That's the way everybody should have went. But you know what? All season, our third quarter offense and defense has came out playing flatter than Travis Kelce's girlfriend.
Say it.
I'm sorry. Taylor Swift is built like a 2x4, and I'm tired of seeing and hearing her name.
Yes. Built like a 2x4 by the hacksaw Jim Duggan.
She's a little taller than that one, but yeah, you get
Wow.
Yeah. I kind of want San Francisco to win the Super Bowl just because of that reason you just said, because I am so sick of them broadcasting Taylor Swift and showing her, and I'm just like, come on now. You got to do better.
She's only on camera 5 times a game, but it's the 27 times you hear her name come out of the announcer's mouth.
Yes.
And the 3 times you see her 90-second trailer for her movie in commercials, whether the Chiefs are playing or not.
Right.
Right.
Every game, it seems like the NFL announcers, whether it's CBS, Fox, ESPN, ABC, LGBTQ plus community, whatever. There's so many acronyms out here.
Or as I call them, the Rainbow Coalition.
Oh, I got one for you, and you're gonna like it when I'm done with this piece. So, it doesn't matter what the network is. They say her name more than she's ever on camera in any Chiefs game, and that's in every game across the NFL.
Yes.
On the ones that are sick of hearing about her, they have to mention her at least 5 times when she's not even there.
Exactly.
And thank God they weren't dating before the Lions game. I think that news broke like the day after that they were dating.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
Thank you.
Absolutely crazy. But that's that. They love drama. They love stories like this. So they're gonna keep on with it. But it's like it's too much. It's too much.
The whole LGBTQ plus thing. I'm a manager at a tire shop. I got 10 cars in the lot with 6 people waiting because I only got 4 techs and 4 bays. One guy pulls out. I'm trying to get the next guy over, and this lady just yanks up in that spot. And I say lady, and I use the term loosely because you really don't know which when they're sitting in a car anymore. But anyways, rolled down the window with a shorter haircut than mine, and I'm bald. Looks at me and goes, I need my tire fixed. And I said, well, so does the 6 people that was here before you. So I need you to move off to the side, let the next customer who's next in line pull in, and I'll come talk to you in just a minute. Are you saying you're not going to take care of me? I said, no, ma'am. I did not say that one bit. Ma'am, now you're assuming my gender. Excuse me. They. I got a question for you before you back out and get out of the way, because that's what you're going to do, or I'll have somebody tow your car out of the spot. Does LGBTQ plus community give you special benefits like Hulu Plus with premium packages? I was not disrespectful at any time to this individual until they got disrespectful with me.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because if you give it, you better be ready to expect it back, because I'm the same way as a human being. If I give it, I expect it back. I grew up in an era, if somebody gave you crap, you gave it back twice as bad, because you know what? You make them regret the fact they tried to give you shit.
Mm-hmm. So, but you said you're the same way as a human being. So what are you if you're not a human being?
I understand that. I'm just saying.
I saw you left that one open. I had to.
There's been times I've been a dog, and there's times I've been an ass. How's that?
Aren't we all?
At least I admit to my fault.
You gotta pick and choose. Yep, I hear you.
Choose your arguments. You gotta pick and choose your fights. But I choose to go to humor. I mean, y'all all saw the humor in that. That was almost as bad as I'm working on this young pair of women pull in. I see them kiss, and not the way that friends do. You know, it wasn't the little peck on the cheek. So I knew what was up. I'm jacking their car up, and they're young. And they asked the stupidest question you can ask anybody who's working on a car. Are we safe to sit in the car while it's on the jack? I have no filter. Just to let you know. I already saw them kissing. So I sat there and said, sure, as long as you young ladies don't start to act like teenagers on prom night, hop in the back seat and use your power tools. I said, because if y'all get the car bouncing, it may fall off the jack.
Yep.
There was nothing disrespectful said there, right? Did I say anything disrespectful?
No.
Them, their lifestyle.
See, but you know what, though? In society, as men, we can't say what we want, but they can say everything about us and talk about it. And it's a big issue. Like it's so many people that are sensitive, and you can't be honest.
Right.
And I'm like, Wow. It's unbelievable because I'm like that myself because I'm a person that tell it like it is, but sometimes I gotta watch myself because I can be too honest with people and then they too sensitive. So I'm like, okay, I gotta hold back just a little bit, not always, but just a little bit.
I keep a roll of Charmin, you know, the wrap in my car. If they're too soft, I get it out of my car and I come back and say, "Y'all need a tissue?" That's just how I am. Because you know what? Be soft. I don't have a thin skin. I take it. I get picked on about my teeth, I give it back. I had a guy at a karaoke club try to say, "Wow, your teeth are so messed up. Do you do meth?" I know his mom from high school. You know where I
Wow.
went. You know where I went.
You had to go there. You
I
had
had
to.
to go there.
Yeah.
And I also know and Mama Ho. That's all I got to say. So I went there. It said something about maybe it was his mama that caused my teeth to rot out because things were too sweet. I made that young man cry. That's how sensitive this young generation is. If you're going to cut somebody down, you better expect to cut down back. That's all I got to say. I'm 53 years old. I'm going to stand up for myself, whether it's verbally. I'll throw hands. I ain't going to win every time. I ain't going to say that. That would be a bald-faced lie. I don't start fights, but I finished quite a few of them.
No, that's right.
Those two young ladies, they laughed
Yeah.
butts off at that comment about the jack. I come back, I get both the front tires done. I go to collect. They bought used tires, so I said, $80, please. They handed me 180 and said, keep the change because that's the best laugh they have without being disrespected.
Wow.
Mm.
That's how I made management.
That's cool.
Because the
That's
owner
cool.
heard it. And he's blind, but his, that means his hearing's
right.
How can you say something that sounds so disrespectful, make it funny, and get tipped like that? You're in the wrong side. You need to be in management.
and having fun while working, and that's a plus because not too many people do that. They always be frowning up when they working, like, oh, I hate this job, I hate this, but you got to add fun to it.
And
you have to.
And you could see, if you look, first, second, and fourth quarter, all the coordinators, the coaches, and everything, all game, no matter other than the Ravens game, they looked like they were having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That third quarter, it never looked fun for Dan Campbell.
Oh, no.
Looked at him, he looked like he was suffering from a migraine and was about to have a stroke. His face would turn red. His nose would turn red.
Yeah.
I agree.
I treat all my employees the same way that I wanted to be treated, as I always wanted to be treated as a manager. This is my first shot to be a manager of a tire shop. So I treat them the way I wanted to be treated.
Yep.
You know what? All of them work for me. I have hardly any that get mad and walk off the job, like, and that in the tire industry, as much as anyone wants to say it, next to military service, it's the next highest in suicide rate in America.
Wow.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Because most of the time you got butthead managers that don't know how to talk to people or treat them with respect. I give what I get, and I'm going to give you the respect up front, and I expect to get it back.
Exactly.
If I don't, then I'll change the way I treat you. But until then, I treat everybody the way I want to be treated. And I have a much better production output because of it. I mean, I'm only working 5 hours a day, and I'm putting out $1,000 in used tires a night. 85% of the time. That's, think about it. When used tires are $40 to $50 a piece, that's a lot of tires going out in a 4-hour time with only three to four guys.
Yeah, it is.
Make the best out of it. Yep.
So
absolutely.
If you disrespect me, you will never get disrespect. If you're coming on my show to watch me and then come in and tell me to STFU, you better expect I'm going to respond, because there's a way to fix that. If you're watching, you don't like what I have to say, quit watching the show.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yes.
And when you're dealing with people like that, you got to be crazy because you got to be crazy right back to them. And that's the only way.
I admit I'm crazy.
Exactly. Yeah.
I was born this way. Came in the army. I was in basic training with Psycho because I did that to drill sergeant.
You got to be like that sometimes, you know,
For
especially when dealing with people.
I only had to be fire drill guard one time the entire basic training in AIT throughout that 3-month period, becoming an infantryman, learning how to travel to exotic lands, meet interesting people, and kill them. That's all an infantryman does. That's their job.
Wow.
That's
sound like an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
What? That's every Arnold Schwarzenegger movie except maybe 2 of them. Jingle All the Way. You can't tell me that that's about killing. Still had action, but it wasn't about killing.
Right.
And Kindergarten Cop, it had some killing, but it ain't like it was meant to be. Still has the best line by a 5-year-old I ever heard. And I ain't pissed off the gender community.
So I wonder who's the one that says that he's crazy too.
I'm about to go look because I'm interested.
Yeah.
Hey, we all got a little craziness in us. So.
Oh yeah, we do.
With the way this society is, you gotta have some crazy.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Brian.
You know what?
Yeah, we got.
And I have fun with me, and I'm glad you're one of my friends on Facebook, Brian, because we have lots of good discussions, no matter how good or bad, about golf, about Stafford. You know what? I wish that guy that does all the crazy videos about the NFL and Earl Jackson. Yeah. I know.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And let me ask you guys something, man. I know you guys were talking about the Pro
Wait, 1
Bowl.
minute. 1 minute. No, okay. Go ahead. I'm joking. Go ahead.
No, I'm gonna make this real quick. I know y'all was talking about the Pro Bowl. Do you think they should still have it the Pro Bowl and all the events with it?
I was just talking to Timmy about this in the chat, and I'm going to say what I think they should do. I think we should go away from having bye weeks. I think they need to move the Pro Bowl so it means something to the middle of the season, like every other professional sport does. You give them the week off before the Pro Bowl and the week off after the Pro Bowl. You make it a 19-week season, but still 17 games. That way, you're not worried about whether guys are in shape to play the Pro Bowl. You don't worry about whether they're going to be in shape to recover, because that week off before and after will allow your stars to recover. Every now and then, is someone going to get hurt? Yes, it's football. It's no different than the regular season in week 9. So you give them week 7 off. You give them, week 8 off. You give them week 10 off. You play it on week 9. I think that's the only way we fix the Pro Bowl. And I think the better Pro Bowl is the way they did it back in the old days before the AFL and the NFL merger. Y'all remember what it used to be?
Mm-hmm.
It used to be the world championship team would face off against the best in the NFL 53-man roster.
Wow.
For one game. So you take the previous Super Bowl winner and their roster that was the best in the NFL that year, and you make them face a 53-man roster made up of all the best players from every team in the NFL. And you know what's funny? Is the Super Bowl team won more than the All-Star team back then.
Wow.
And you know what that had to do with? It leads strength to the whole continuity of coaching and play calling and all that stuff. Tristan Williams says Jeremy needs to get in contact with the NFL.
I know.
Yeah. I agree with everything you said with that, because I think they should have it in the middle of the season, just like all the other sports do. Because if you have it right before the Super Bowl, you're gonna have a lot of players that's not gonna play, and they're going through injuries, and a lot of those guys are going to the Super Bowl, so they're not gonna play anyway.
Yeah.
So it makes no sense.
And like when they used to have it after the Super Bowl, people are, players are done.
I know who one is, and he's one of the top 4 corners in coming out of college right now, and slated to go off the board before pick 20. So I'm trying to steer away from looking at top 4 guys at any position for draft scouting, for my scouting profiles I'm doing for the Lions.
So do you think Dan or Brad Holmes will actually try to move down in the draft? Because he has in the past.
Yeah, we've moved down and picked up the rounds that we haven't had picks for, because we trade them away quicker than anything. I mean, Brad Holmes makes more trades during the draft than a stockbroker on crack.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Last year, there were 44 trades in the NFL draft. The Lions led the league with 9 of them.
Wow.
So it leans credence to my little joke saying, but it's true. In the year before, we had 7, which was second in the league. So you look at the last 2 years, yeah, he trades back and forth quicker than a stockbroker. He sells high and buys low and wins.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he wins. That's for sure.
I mean, he definitely wins.
Okay, I'm going to ask you this: would y'all have rather had Jay Reed or Brian Branch?
Oh, Brian Branch all day.
Branch.
Okay. Would you have rather had Matt Stafford, or would you have rather had Ifeatu Melifonwu, Jameson Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Sam Laporta, and Broderick Martin?
The latter. I'm sorry.
No, that's not one player that can win or lose a game.
Right.
That's a collection of 6 players that are developing and all have proven themselves to be good at one point or another. I mean, Ifeatu Melifonwu, defensive back, is the hardest position to transition from college to pro, which is almost why, unless you are picking one of the top guys that are considered a generational talent at the top of the first round, you don't pick them till the second round.
Yep. Now, if Matt Stafford was like Bobby Lane and gave us a curse when he left, then I would say we should have kept Matt Stafford.
Oh, no. Come on now. He cursed us when we beat him in the wild card round this year. He goes,
but you know what, Tim? I think he did kind of give us a curse, because he was the curse of trying to get traded. Then he didn't wish us luck after that game, so it's almost like, okay, F Detroit, but man, it's good for the team, but not the fans.
We booted him. At no point when Matt Stafford ran out of the table did they say, "Here comes Matt Stafford in the LA Rams or the Detroit Rams," or whatever the fans wanted to hear. We were booing when they said, "Here comes the Rams." That's all they said. They didn't even give them the respect of calling them the Los Angeles Rams. Hell, they lost.
Hey, he's on the enemy. He's on the. Yeah, I mean, I was rooting for him to win the Super Bowl that one year when he did, but I'll tell you what, when you're playing against my team, I'm rooting for my team. And if it means knock you on your ass, I don't care if you're going to knock Matt Stafford on his ass. I want my team to win. I don't care who you are.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And that was, and I understand, people want to, got on him, boo him, and boo his kids and boo his wife and stuff like that. And should have did that, shouldn't have did that. Hey, it happens. But that just means that we're Detroit fans and we want our team to win. Like you could play for this team from before, but you still an enemy at the end of the day. So we glad that you've been here for the years you've been here, but you still an enemy now. You won a Super Bowl. We was happy for you. So now it's like, now you're not happy for our
Right.
success and us beating you. So of course we're gonna be, and then we got to play them next year too. So ain't no telling how that game's gonna be. It's gonna be intense. It's gonna be intense.
The NFC West next year?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And we
Yep.
also, outside of conference, we play every number one team in the NFL, correct? Because of
That's
where
correct.
Right.
That's correct.
I have always been a team above player. I'm going to say something now that's going to make a lot of people mad because I think it makes more sense to do this. If Goff would have got us to the Super Bowl, I'd have been fine with whatever they want to give him. And I'm not saying, yep, every number one division winner. Got it.
Yeah.
And we never booed Kelly Stafford and the kids. We didn't ever hated. The only thing we ever hated about Kelly is her goddamn mouth. But we didn't boo her kids. We didn't boo her. We were booing the Rams. She just happened to be unlucky and on the field at the same time they were.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say about it.
Right.
And I think we should hold out and not give Goff an extension unless we get to the Super Bowl this next year. Say what you want and hear me out here. All of the quarterbacks that have been to the Super Bowl, whether winning or losing, has either been Tom Brady on a less than market value contract or a rookie contract. Matt Stafford is the only quarterback since the year 2000 to be on an after rookie contract to win a Super Bowl, and it took them adding pieces to a team that was built around the quarterback he replaced to be able to win it. They added Leonard Floyd, Von Miller, and OBJ mid-season to make it to the Super Bowl, people. He did not have a ready-made road to the Super Bowl. Because put it this way, if they didn't sign OBJ, a week later when Robert Woods tore his ACL in practice, guess what? They don't go to the Super Bowl because they were already having problems with pick sixes costing games by Matt Stafford in the fourth quarter. 5 of them.
Right.
7 games in a row. So say what you want.
Yeah, exactly. And sure, when you really don't know what you got to, because we don't know if this was a 1-year deal that he had, 1 year where he really came through. I agree with you. We don't just go ahead and give him an open checkbook or a blank check.
And Detroit fan man, you're exactly right. Wild that only Tanger and Engstrand is still interviewing for that Seattle OC job. This culture is too strong. Meanwhile, the Dallas culture is weak enough for Dan Quinn to take the Washington Commanders division rival job. And he's exactly right. I just wanted to make sure I threw out my opinion on the whole Kelly Stafford thing. I didn't address it in my game review because I felt like it was a non-factor because she retracted that statement in 3 days. She retracted that statement quicker than she did about the Detroit Rams fans.
Crazy.
Crazy. Yeah, exactly.
Here's you guys say what you want about Scotty Montgomery, our running backs coach, but he evidently is not the next OC because we hired a D-line coach and made him our run game coordinator. What does that tell you? That they don't trust Scotty Montgomery to be an offensive coordinator. If they're not even going to trust him as a running backs coach to call the run game planning, they don't trust him.
No.
Yeah.
And thank God, because that's what I was worried about with everything that was going on and all those interviews, is if Ben Johnson left and Tanger Engstrom took the job with either the Patriots or Seahawks, and then Aaron Glenn, who are we getting? I said, and somebody said, "Oh, we'll just promote Scotty Montgomery," and I said, "Oh my God, that is SOL thing to do for this regime." I was looking, and I mentally checked out as soon as we lost that game. I mentally checked out on anybody we had in our coaching staff and was looking at okay, who's next? Who will Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes target to be the next OC? Because if those guys leave, it ain't anybody on this roster.
Yep.
And if we
Yep.
stay at 29 in the 2024 NFL draft, who do I want our Detroit Lions to draft this year? If he falls there, and I know he's the best corner in NCAA, and the chances of that happening is about a snowball's chance in hell. But that's what everybody said about us getting Penei Sewell at 7 in 2021. Kool-Aid McKinstry, because that
Yes.
came from Detroit.
Yes.
Number 2, T'Vondre Sweat, the way he's moving up the boards right now, the way he's playing, that's my number 2. Number 3, if none of those are available, I want Cooper Beebe, Kansas State. Left guard, run game, pass game protector. He's better at the run game than the pass game. Oh, who does that sound like? The guy he'll be replacing, Jonah Jackson's injury-prone ass. The reports are we're going to get Ryan in Glasgow, and I think he's going to get that average NFL starting offensive lineman money. He's not good enough, to get top notch. He's only been good at Detroit. When he went to Denver, he was straight booty cheeks. So he's not a high target for other teams. So that $7.5 to $9.5 million, the average starting guard money, is about right for him. I'm hoping we give him 3 years and let him close out his deal right here in Detroit.
Oh yeah.
Because every year you can always draft the replacement and make him a backup. You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
It's the youth movement. Plus, we'll actually get to see Hendon Hooker this offseason and see what we got for him in the preseason game. This is another reason why I don't want to extend Goff right now. We started Hendon Hooker's rookie clock by taking him off the NIL that last year. If they did not plan on him starting in the next 2 years, they'd have left him on the the NFI report, and that rookie clock would not have started till this season. I'm looking at it from the mind of a GM, not a head coach. I'm at the mind of a GM. The GM makes the decision on who gets activated off of injured reserves with the blessing of the medical staff. Those are the guys that make those decisions. And everybody laughed because he had a tooth that abscessed. He was hit, he landed wrong, and I know about this. I know about this from personal experience. I was playing catch with my mom, playing with the dog, and she threw a little ball, one that you squeak, super soft, doesn't hurt hardly at all. It hit me in the mouth, and immediately tears rolled into my eyes, and I'm not a guy that cries from pain. The next day, I had a size of a golf ball here. The abscess ruptured underneath my tooth.
Ooh.
And that's why this one right there is missing. That's where it was. It hit me right here. That thing swelled up to the size of a golf ball in a day. I set the appointment for 2 days later. By the time I got in, it was a tennis ball on the side of my face.
Ouch.
Jeez. Man.
So I know all about that abscess tooth shit and how much pain it is. I got to where I couldn't turn my head. I couldn't lift my head up. I had to keep my head perfectly straight. I had to turn my body to look places because I couldn't turn my head because any movement of the neck muscles put strain on your cheek muscles, which put a strain on that abscess that was stretching my skin. So, yes, it is very, very bad when you have tooth pain, people.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Don't realize it. My chiclets look like this, not because I'm a drug addict, not because I sit here and drink buckets of Mountain Dew, which I do, but I brush my teeth often, which negates anything right after you drink or eat. I had a heart attack in 2016.
Oh, man.
Wow.
So there's certain glands that become overactive after a heart attack. One of them being the saliva glands. And with having the old style fillings that they gave us when we were kids, and I didn't hear we were supposed to replace them, so I never did. All of those, because of the overactive saliva glands, rotted my teeth from the inside out.
Dang.
Wow.
Man.
That's rough.
Yeah.
So that's why my chicklets look the way I do. That's why I look like I belong somewhere between Kentucky and Mississippi, playing a banjo on somebody's porch. That's why I look like that. And yes, I said that. I look like you should be hearing the song from Deliverance right now. I can eat corn cob or a picket fence. I ain't scared. You can say whatever you want. I know I'm ugly. I'm so ugly, my mom had to spoon fed me by slingshot because she didn't want to sit in front of me. My dad walked up to the doctor and said, "Oh, my child is born. What is he?" He goes, "I don't know. I got to catch that hairy little fucker first." Well, there. That just shows you my background, my mentality, and how I like to have fun. Because if you can yourself and laugh about it, don't pick on anybody else. That's my lesson,
Exactly.
life lesson for the day. And yes, Terrion Arnold is also he's the number 2 quarterback. Kool-Aid McKinstry is rated number 1 statistically by PFF. I'm gonna Terrion Arnold was the number 2 cornerback at Alabama for a reason.
Yeah.
He covered number 1 wide receivers, just like Cam Sutton was a number 2 at Pittsburgh for a reason, with a great front seven that got pressure and was a top 25 corner that year. When I say pressure, I'm talking about sacks and pressure rate combined. I'm not just talking about pressures where we make a quarterback go, "Ooh, they're close to me." I'm talking about where they hit them. We were number 2 in the league in pressure as a team, with a guy that was number 1 in the top 5 in NFL history in pressures. In NFL history. And you guys were calling him a bum in Aiden Hutchinson because he didn't hit home. How many sacks did he have in the regular season? Wasn't it 11 and a half?
11 and a half.
Yeah.
And I projected he'd have 10 or more. Everybody, he's a late season guy. Why? The team is young. It's a late season blooming team. It takes a minute to get it there. And you know what? And I still say if Dan Campbell didn't put his hands on this defense after that Chicago Bears embarrassing loss in Chicago, we still wouldn't be talking about Aiden Hutchinson this way. Because all of a sudden, this defense got aggressive. Denver came to town on the hottest streak coming, and we tore them a new butthole.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
I also like that Oregon offensive lineman that wore Panay's number 58 after he left. He could be OG backup center replacing Jonah now and Frank eventually. Great call out. I like that one too. I just know my pecking order would be corner, defensive tackle, or left guard at 29. In that order.
Yeah.
But if it's Rhamondre Smith or Kool-Aid McKinstry, I really got to think about that. Because I think we should find a true vet number 1 corner. And I was telling Timmy here, my 3, Ladarius Sneed, unless he's franchise tag.
Right.
Adoree Jackson, because New York cannot afford to franchise tag or re-sign him. And the other one is if the Bengals don't franchise tag him, Chidori Awuriye. That's my 3 targets for vet number 1.
Yeah.
And if you tell me that those are bad targets, I'm going to tell you to kick rocks. I would say Stephen Gilmore, but you know what? He's getting old. He's a great mentor, but he doesn't play great anymore, as we saw. He was getting burnt in Dallas. Once Trayvon Diggs went down and he had to be a number 1, that defense didn't look the same.
True.
Yeah.
Kind of like watching Cam Sutton play a number 1.
Oh, gosh.
I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying he's a great vet leadership. He's going to show people how to hit at angles and everything else, but he is not great on the field anymore.
And you know, I had and it's funny you say that about Cam Sutton, because I had a talk with a friend of mine who's a big Lions fan, and he was saying, you know, the reason why Cam Sutton hasn't been playing was playing bad is because he had a toe injury. So I'm like, I don't know.
5 corner. He's not that fast anyways.
Right.
So he's average speed in the NFL, which is fast compared to any one of us. I'm quite sure if any one of us, we'd be happier than a pig in slop.
Exactly,
Yeah.
but
Now, let me ask this: what do you think about Sandstrill from Michigan? How you think, would that be something nice, or
late day 2, early day 3? So that being said, with 2 picks in the 3rd round, I think if the Lions don't grab him with one of them, they won't get him.
okay?
That's just my personal opinion, and I think that's right where he fits. He's fast, he's big, he's tall, athletic, but his coverage skills are not perfect. Remember, he moved from wide receiver to cornerback, which means he's kind of the Trayvon Diggs of the Michigan defense. He either makes the big play or he gets burnt. There is no in between.
Yeah,
He's going to look like making burnt toast look like Wonder Bread, or he's going to make a play that makes him look like the greatest thing since sliced bread. There's no in between with him. And in the NFL, where everything's faster and you got to adjust, he will have a bad rookie season.
Yeah, that's kind of like how it was for Jabril Peppers.
Mhm.
Like, it was so much hype with him, and you don't really hear too much of him.
No,
If any.
Right.
He's actually sitting in a good spot at the Patriots roster, but I think they only signed him to a 1-year deal. And if he's a free agent, I would not mind in our rotation having Jabril Peppers instead of CJ, GJ, or CD Deuce, whatever you want to call him. And is it just me, or does CD Deuce remind you of like the first lines from Up in Smoke when they were sitting in the car? Yeah, what kind of shit is that? When a dog ate my stash, I had to chase him around for a week to get it back. That's a CD Deuce.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a young team, man. So they're going to make mistakes, and it happens with young teams. That's the growth, and for them to make it all the way to the NFC Championship, and with the injuries they have, you got to look at that as just overseeing expectations, and they're going to get better next year.
And I want to make myself clear. I am not saying that Goff doesn't deserve an extension. That is not the words that came out of my mouth. I'm not saying he's not good enough to start on this team. He is definitely good enough for Detroit. But if they want to move forward and keep the progression of learning, because what was Dan Campbell's exact words after that pick of Hendon Hooker? After Brad Holmes bragged about calling back a number he's called many times in Greensboro, South Carolina, there's a reason why he said this. He's been scouting that kid since he was in the 8th grade. That's 10 years of scouting before he hit the draft. So he has a plan for Hendon Hooker, and I don't think it's trade him in year 3.
Yeah,
I'm trying to be realistic with everybody here. You know, Goff is under contract for $32.5, which isn't bad money. It's just not great money.
Yeah, and we got to watch. And then sometimes when you give guys these big contracts, they don't play up to par as well. So they get that big money, and then they just decline, and then they don't play well until it's the last year of their contract. And I don't think the Lions want to fall into that trap.
Romeo Okwara, the first signing of Brad Holmes that I disagreed with right away. And everybody says, well, why do you disagree with it? He had a great season. I said, number one, he's never played an entire season except for last year in a contract year. He never had double-digit sacks except his contract year. It's the same thing every NFL team has made a mistake with an average player that has a great year. They re-sign them to a bigger than necessary contract to keep them so they don't walk in free agency, and it costs them other players. With all the players we cut and the trading of Stafford and the dead cap stuff and everything else, that 13-9 cost us Marvin Jones Jr. and Matt Prater.
Yeah, I did.
Yes, it did.
And everybody's like, oh, you're delusional. He deserved that money. How many games did he play? Let's see. He played 1.5 games and then missed an entire season. Then he missed the first half of the next season over the same injury. Came back and played in 3 games and played good in 2 games this year. So we gave him $13.9 for 2 years in a row. That's $27.8 million. We restructured him to $2 million, and he had 2 good games out of all the games he played in this year. Tell me, does he deserve to be on this roster this coming season?
No.
After that restructure?
Nope.
That's what I got to say. Bah. Unless he's going to sign for $390,000 and be the cheapest player in NFL history with this type of cap room. Bye.
Bye.
We don't need one of those Trey Flower signings where you just give him a bag and all of a sudden terrible.
Don't get me wrong. In the 3.5 games he was able to play over the last 2 years, he was better than Trey Flowers in all the 3 years he was here. I do have to say that. And that
Patricia was an agent that really just.
But you know what? I didn't blame Detroit for wanting to get Trey Flowers that year. Say what you want, he was the best end, and we had to overpay because we were that god awful with the Quinn Trasher regime.
Right.
In order to get somebody of that caliber to come to a team like ours, we had to overpay.
Mm-hmm.
And say what you want, I'm going to call him Matt Patricia. I will call him that as long as I live. Matt Patricia and his coaching staff couldn't develop a player, let alone Polaroid film. And that's instant, people.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
Well, I still remember him riding that little bitty cruiser thing to practice. I'm like, come on, man. Come on.
Yeah.
And every day he rode it, it looked like he gained 10 pounds. I think he went to the Golden Corral every day.
That's why they went bankrupt.
Yep.
It is why they went bankrupt.
Yeah.
You notice all our linemen got skinnier those 2 years he was here, right? He was eating their part. I'm just saying, thank God this thing never got a flat, because if they ever had to put a spare tire on it, he might have tried to dunk it in a cup of coffee.
Oh, you better believe it. Can't have Krispy Kremes around him.
If he ate one Krispy Kreme, that pencil would have shot out of his ear. Yeah, I'm awful. I admit it. I love it.
That was the downside of the Eagles. They let him call plays, and that's what cost them.
Right then.
And I love every minute of it. To have him reunite with Darius Slay, I was like, oh, this ain't gonna end up well.
Is there any reason Darius Slay disappeared in that defense after that? Jalen Carter disappeared. It looked like he was going to be a defensive rookie of the year. Now you have to debate if it's Brian Branch or Will Anderson, because Jalen Carter looked like a bum those last 7 weeks.
Yes.
And I saw he went to his famous 3-3-5 formation. I'm like,
gosh.
Yeah. You take one of the best front sevens with the 4-3 front and turn it into a 3-3-5 and expect them to win games in an automatic prevent defense from the start of a game to an end of the game. They deserve to lose.
They do.
What was their head coach thinking? I mean,
he had to change something because they lost a game they weren't supposed to. Fans were calling for his head. So he goes, okay, I'm demoting our defensive coordinator and promoting our assistant defensive coordinator because I'm half retarded.
Big brain trust there. Oh gosh.
And the smartest stupid guy in the room every time is the pencil boy. Second only to Bob Quinn. Bob Quinn was only hired by the Cleveland Browns for his offensive line scouting. Anytime Bob Quinn speaks up about a defensive player, yeah, we're not doing that, Bob. Shut up.
You know, that just proves that the NFL had it up okay, had it out against us because they're the ones that recommended Bob Friend to Martha Ford.
Well, that's not true because Sheila Hamp has been added to the same board that made that suggestion to us. You have to remember that's the NFL competition board. That is a collection of owners and GMs that are put together to improve the competition across the board. The Eagles are so bad. Somehow Fatty P taking over the defense, although terrible, was still not the worst story in that locker room. What happened? Oh, Matt Patricia happened. It 100% was Matt Patricia because the offense wasn't horrible. It just wasn't good anymore. And, remember, they lost both their offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator.
Defense. Yep.
And I said, going to the Super Bowl and then losing both coordinators in the same year is going to spell disaster for Philadelphia right off the rip. So, and Jalen Hurts came back to earth after he got all that money. So before you want to give a quarterback $45 million, think twice, people.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Them big contracts. Every time it happens, majority of time when you give them these majority contracts, they don't end up
Daniel
being
Jones?
like they would. Oh, you mean Danny Dimes?
Yeah.
Huge congratulations to Dan Campbell being Detroit Lions Coach of the Year as voted on by a newspaper. The award has not been given out yet. The award ceremony is this weekend, is it, or is it the week after the Super Bowl? Which is it? It's this weekend, right?
I think it's this weekend.
Yeah, this weekend.
Saturday night after the Senior Bowl plays that afternoon, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And then let's see. There's going to be the Senior Bowl, and during the Senior Bowl, they're going to show clips of the HBCU Combine, correct? Just like they did last year.
Right.
I'm interested in that, because we don't see those guys. They're not on national media. They're not up there where we can watch them every week. I like watching that. I called for a couple of people to go to the NFL. They didn't make it, but you know what? They had the size, the speed, and everything you're looking for. And I don't know why more teams don't take a chance on them in the NFL. Guess what? They've all went to the USFL and XFL and showed out.
Yes.
Just like that Dallas, he was the best part of that team. I'm going to say something now that's piss off Ravens, Cowboys, Vikings fans real quick. Lamar Romo is equal to Dak Cousins, is equal to Kirk Prescott, is equal to Tony Jackson. Great regular season production and playoff chokers. Until
boy.
any of those guys make a Super Bowl, they are not on Jared Goff's level.
No.
Say what you want. Jared Goff got a team to a Super Bowl, and that's everybody's acknowledgement on what a good quarterback is. Jared Goff's been to one.
Yep.
Yes, he has.
And he's done something that Stafford couldn't do, is win a playoff game in Detroit. Win two.
Preach it.
Two.
The same season.
Yeah.
We played 20 games this year because we had a good, not great quarterback.
Right.
That's exactly what he is.
Yeah.
He's a good, not great quarterback. He does a lot of things good with a good team around him. And as long as that team plays like that team should, he's fantastic.
Right.
As soon as key pieces go away or somebody doesn't play right, Jared Goff is not the guy that's going to win or lose you a game. And I have preached this ever since we made that trade. Have I not, Timmy? Have I ever strayed from those statements ever with Jared Goff? I've said he's not a great quarterback. I said he's the type of quarterback that throws well enough will get you top 10 stats. But he is not the reason we win or lose games.
Right.
All the that's coming.
That's the main reason.
Other than one this year, and we won that game when it was in the second half. So say what you want. Those key interceptions and stuff happen at the beginning of the games, which the offense and the defense have to overcome later.
Right.
But that's easier to make up for than somebody who does it in the fourth quarter.
Exactly.
Yeah. And Stafford was throwing pick six like you drinking 8 glasses of water every day.
In the fourth
It was all the time.
Yeah.
It wasn't all the time, but I'll tell you what, there were 7 key ones, and 4 of them was in the year we went 9-8 and made the playoff.
Mhm.
Now think about
Right.
this: you take away one of those, Detroit wins the division that year.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
Man.
You know
Man.
I'm right.
Yeah.
9-8, we were second place in
You're
the
right.
division, made the playoff. And if it wasn't for 8 fourth quarter comebacks because of Caldwell's god awful play calling, you guys can say what you want about Caldwell. He was a good coach. He wasn't a great coach. He was mediocre.
Right.
Got to stay hydrated. 8
Got
glasses of
to.
water. Yeah,
Got to.
that's on the days you don't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one year with Stafford, and I remember it was the perfect year for them to win the division. It was the year Rodgers and I think Jay Cutler got hurt in the same year, and we still didn't make the playoffs.
We lost to Matt Flynn.
Yeah.
That was the year after the year we lost to Aaron Rodgers to lose the division with an 11-win team against the Saints. And when we went to the Saints and lost, where Matt Stafford had one great playoff game for Detroit. You say what you want, the defense lost us that game. He
Absolutely.
threw 3 touchdowns. He rushed one in. The running backs couldn't do anything. The defense couldn't stop paper.
Yep.
And you say what you want. You had Fairley and Sue on that defense too.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't blame it on a bad D line that year.
Yeah, he gave up too many yards.
It was the same guy that was the defensive coordinator the next year, who actually just got fired from the Packers, Joe Barry.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember.
Yep.
Oh,
I
God,
remember that. I remember that. Yep.
Right after that was when we got Terrell Austin. We improved to 8-8, and they decided not to extend Schwartz's contract, and we switched to Jim Caldwell. 8-8 wasn't good enough for the Fords.
Right.
Was not good enough for the Fords. After the decade of despair that Millen gave us.
Oh, God.
Destruction.
Yeah.
Total destruction with Millen. It was just total destruction.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I've had a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, and actually, I do need to
same here.
Yeah.
I want to tell your viewers the same thing I tell my viewers at the end of every one of my shows. Try every day to be a better person than you were the day before. It's the only way to make the world a better place. Like I said, I'm respectful until you disrespect me, and then it's watch out. Peace, love, and chicken grease.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Thanks a lot,
yes,
Jeremy.
sir. Yep. Appreciate it.
All right. Yep.
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah, it's a good thing he said that because I got to get going too. So
yeah.
Hey, thanks for coming on. Thanks everybody here in the chat. I appreciate it. It was a great show. Let's just go Lions and let's enjoy the off season.
Absolutely. Just enjoy the off season. Get ready for the draft. Get ready for some Michigan Panther football as well.
Oh yeah.
So get ready for that. It's still football. It's going to be in Ford Field, not the Lions, but it's going to be the Panthers. So get ready for that and just support the Panthers and just with the Lions loss. I know it's a tough loss, but they still had a good season. You know, nobody expected them to get to the NFC Championship. So with everything that's been going on with injuries and stuff like that, it was a tough loss. But you still got to be happy with this team where they were a half away from going to the Super Bowl. So it just lets you go be more excited for next season. This should be this kind of loss to fuel this Lions team for next year. And they should get them mad and more focused because this is the type of loss that you will never forget for the rest of your life. It'll always be there. Just like how years ago with the Houston Oilers and Buffalo Bills,
Mm-hmm.
that loss it's similar to that.
Yeah.
Very similar to that. But just got to keep our heads up and stay as Lion fans and just support this team, just like we have all year. The real fans, not the bandwagon fans, but the real fans.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. And you had 3 real fans here, and of course, a lot more that was in the chat. Definitely real fans. But yeah,
Yes, sir.
I do got to get going because I got to get ready for work. And thank you, everybody. And let's have a great day. All right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So take care.
All right now.
All right.